This week's episode is brought to you by Campaign Refinery, an amazing new email marketing automation tool. Look, in the world of digital marketing, there's a lot to keep track of. We all know this. As much as we're in love with social media and the power of social conversation here at Social Inc. and on the All About Digital Marketing podcast, we are well aware at just how powerful email marketing can be. Email marketing is not dead. In fact, it's never been more important to help you leverage your presence everywhere else into the one channel that you'll own, regardless of what changes Facebook, Twitter, or any other platform makes in the future. I've known the founder, Travis Ketchum, for years, and he's been a past guest on the podcast, episode 15 if you want to listen to it. I've personally used his other products before, and they've been fantastic. The amount of thought that he's put into each and every one of what he's created has been incredible. I'd highly encourage you to try their free 14-day trial at campaignrefinery.com to see what world-class email marketing automation can do for you and your business. Massive thank you to Travis and Campaign Refinery for their support of the All About Digital Marketing show. Welcome to the All About Digital Marketing podcast. The show all about
digital marketing.
Digital marketing.
Digital marketing.
Digital marketing.
Brought to you by Social Inc., a digital marketing agency specializing in social media and content marketing for brave brands and forward-thinking SMEs. I'm your host, Chris Bruno, and as always, we're here to bring you the most actionable tips, tricks, tools, and insights to help you achieve more when it comes to your digital marketing. Subscribe to the show and be sure to share with a friend if you found something useful or interesting. You can find all the show notes and more information on www.allaboutdigitalmarketing.co.uk. Arjun, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So I'm really excited about this. We got a lot of stuff to cover. And just before we hit the record button, we started coming up with ideas of what we could talk about. And I think this could turn into a 17-part episode if we're not careful. But let's start off by telling everyone a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your company, Hello Woofy, and a bit about your journey, about how you got here.
Absolutely. Oh boy, it's truly been a blessing. From where we were to where we are today is a miracle. It's a little bit about myself. Hey everyone, this is Arjun, like Argentina without the Tina. I'm the founder and CEO of Hello Woofy, which is what we like to call a marketing dashboard for the underdog marketeer. And we like to stress the point that it is for marketeers, not marketers. And there's really a difference between the two. Marketeers, if you take a look at the definition, they're people who actually sell things, right? A marketer is just someone who advertises, maybe markets, just casually. But when it comes down to the hustle, a marketeer actually gets, shit done. So my background is I've been working on companies since I was 16 years old. Always selling, always building, always trying to come up with the next big thing. And obviously the current venture that we're working on, Hello Woofy, is designed to give basically the underdog. We like to say underdog all the time because the small business owner is exactly that. They have limited resources, they have limited personnel, they have limited time. But our whole approach to marketing and social media marketing specifically is if I can take away the grunt work that goes into creating a piece of content, optimizing it, and then scheduling it, if I can take away the grunt work that's holding you back from competing with let's just say the big bullies or the big boys of the industry, the ones with the unlimited marketing budgets with unlimited people to throw at marketing campaigns, if I can help you compete with those individuals using AI and data science, then I think we've accomplished our mission, which is to help the underdog marketeer. So very simply put, Hello Woofy allows you to, as you start typing, it automatically completes the post for you. It gives you suggestions for engaging or at least contextually aware emojis. As soon as you upload graphics, it automatically suggests hashtags as well. Think of it like a 24/7 advertising agency at your fingertips, available whenever you need it to power all of your social media. And recently, we actually started looking at other facets of marketing, such as content marketing, which is long form, blog posts, things of that nature. Now we're using the exact same technology I just described to allow you to programmatically type up 2,000, 3,000 word articles so that you can do that with less, let's just say less grunt work, and be off to the races programmatically using artificial intelligence. So there's a lot to talk about there, but essentially what we want to do is help the underdog marketeer using data science.
I love it. And, the underdog expression is probably very, very apt because, like you mentioned, most small businesses struggle, right, with resources, with whether it be time, personnel, or money eventually. But I think the thing that's really interesting is actually you told me a little bit about your story and Hello Woofy, right? You guys found yourselves in some pretty hot water and had to make some pretty big and hard decisions as well.
Yeah, so back in 2017, 2018, we had to make some tough decisions. In 2018, we had less than $12,000 left in the bank. We were trying to figure out what are we going to do. As building a startup is not easy, and you really have to count the lives. How many lives you have as a company. So in 2018, we had 12,000 left in the bank. I ended up having to fire our CTO, who was just not a good fit. Eventually, that led to having to fire a very good friend of mine, a close friend of mine, who was my co-founder, having to let him go as well. We decided with $12,000 in the bank, with what is that, like 3-4 months of runway, we were going to plow everything, every dime into building another platform from scratch, because the one that was we were building before was riddled with bugs and it had issues and things of that nature. And we said we're going to do it. We're going to make it work. We absolutely have to help small businesses. We're going to do whatever it takes to build this AI platform and be off the races. And that led to a new development team. It led me to finding a full-time job at another company. So I was working on my company in the early hours. It's 6 a.m. right now in the morning here in New York. I was working on the company 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. in the morning, getting ready for work at 8 and getting to work at 9. And then as soon as I came back, working on the company again, right? I did that for a couple of months, ended up, leaving that position and taking up a part-time position, continued to deploy all of my salary, all of my savings, almost like $64,000 in credit cards. My girlfriend ended up putting in, a few $1,000s as well. She helped us get some, additional credit cards as well. So we did pretty much everything and anything that it took to build the platform and get to market. And fast forward 2019, we ended up, getting to a point where AppSumo called us up. For your listeners who don't know what AppSumo is essentially a marketplace of software vendors, software companies. If you get on the network, it's kind of like the QVC, but for software companies. And they were like, "Hey, we'd love to bring you on into our platform. We know you're launching. We saw you on the internet, and we'd be interested in seeing where we can go with this." And I was like, absolutely, I want to have you as my launch partner. Then we did recently a Reg CF equity crowdfunding initiative on Republic, which is essentially people from anywhere can invest as low as $100, own a piece of the company, or at least have a promise to own a piece of the company, and so that platform ended up calling us up, asking us to audition for a TV show that they had partnered with called Meet the Drapers. Initially, Meet the Drapers actually rejected us. They thought we should definitely come back for the following season. But then a couple of weeks later, they called us up and emailed me, and they basically said, "Hey, would you be willing to come back on the show and actually film it?" And I was like, "Absolutely." Just a couple of weeks before, I ended up flying out to California to do the filming itself. My mom passed away, and that kind of threw the wrench into launching the company itself. Trying to figure out what we're going to do next, because I had to take care of my dad. But long story short, we ended up deciding that it was in the best interest of what we were building and where we were going to continue building the company. Fast forward another month and a half, we ended up launching with AppSumo. We did 30,000 in sales by early January. To date, That was 5 months ago. We've done $135,000 in sales. We went from 30 customers and towards the end of 2019 to over 4,000. And I just did the math. I think that's pretty much close to being 13,000% uplift from 30 customers to 4,000 in 6 months. So that's the sort of hustle, right? It doesn't matter what happened before the 6 months, the last 6 months, because what matters now is us as a startup, as a small business, that we're helping other small businesses. And we have a technology that people are using, hundreds of people are using it every single day. That feeling that you get when you can help other people and knowing that you're humble enough to know where you came from is just the best package ever.
There's like so many things I need to jump in here and ask you about. But the first one is, I mean, wow, you've got this amazing why that is driving the business, right? It's all about helping the underdogs, those small businesses. And I wanted to get an idea from you. How did that come about? How did that become your driving factor of, I want to help more small businesses?
Well, here's the story, right? I've been building companies for a bit now. It's going to be 12 years. I'll be 12, 13 years. I'm going to be 29 this year. And every single time I launch a company or built a project, marketing really sucks. You need so much knowledge. You need so many resources to be able to effectively compete with the biggest companies in your category, in your industry. It's an uphill battle especially for a small business owner. So, for example, when I was running an agency and working with clients in Europe, here in New York, influencers, even before they were known as influencers, I would really have loved if there was a platform that could take an article, come up with the copy automatically, give me suggestions for hashtags, give me suggestions for emojis, which, according to Adobe, tend to drive significant uplift in engagement. The only issue is that there are 3,000 emojis, and the permutations and the possibilities are endless. I would have really loved a platform that could do all of that in seconds just before me, right? But no, all we had were the tools, the social media schedulers of the world that literally took your content, posted it at the time you asked it to and on the network that you asked it to, and that's it. There was no analytics, there was no feedback, there was no improvement in your marketing skills when it came to figuring out, was it the hashtags, the copy, the emojis, the images, the size of the image, the spacing. What did you do really well, or what did you not do so well, and how can you learn from that, right? There's no way, as you know, as an entrepreneur, you learn from your mistakes, you learn from people who come before you, you stand on the shoulders of giants. There is none of that until now. When it comes, obviously with Hello Woofy, there was nothing of that nature before. So as I began to build, additional companies, my last venture-backed company was predominantly engineering focused, right? As far as the people on the team were concerned, I was the only one doing sales. I was the only one doing, what we call social media marketing and outbound sales. I was literally doing everything as a small business owner, and I'm sure everyone on your podcast can relate to this. So how do you empower an individual like that? That's where my mission comes from. And by the way, building something from the ground up with the mission in the DNA like that, and having data science in the foundation as well. It's not tacky when an existing company takes artificial intelligence or something trending and just throws it onto their platform. It seems very tacky. But for us, it's in the DNA. It's in the foundation of what we're building. If you let's take a look at a company like Tesla. If you ask Elon, is Chevy or Ford or any of the top automakers, are they a competitor? He's probably going to tell you no. And if you talk to the automakers, the competitors, quote unquote competitors of Tesla, they're probably going to tell you, yeah, Tesla is the competitor. It's got 4 wheels, it's got a steering wheel. As far as Elon Musk is concerned, he's going to say, no, we built our technology, our car from the ground up. It is focus on energy. It is focus on energy consumption. It's focus. His entire mission is about distributing energy and making it sustainably, available. And that's what we're doing. Is we're building our entire company not as a social media marketing company, but as a data science company that provides data, insights, and feedback to the small business owner. So we started with social media marketing. We're now in content marketing. We're going to go into smart speaker marketing as well. everything that everything that we do is to help the underdog using data to make data driven decisions, and that's where we come from.
I think the Tesla example is amazing, right? They're a technology company that just happens to have built some cars. But the background of that and how they've kind of done it is just insane. And again, looking at it from the outside, it's hard to see the traditional car manufacturers as competitors to them because they're just so far behind. By the time they catch up, it'll be a very different world that we live in.
Right. And if you take a look at Chevy and how they responded to the Tesla, the Model S and the whole approach to electric car companies, they built a Chevy Bolt. What is a Chevy Bolt? It's a small car with a small battery with a gasoline engine, maybe this, a tiny gasoline engine. And they were like, this is going to be our hybrid. Our solution to making sure that, Americans are able to, or people in general, are able to use the benefits of both, the old and the new. And to me, that's holding on to something that is going to hold back the entire civilization. It's not pushing civilization forward. And to people like Tesla, or Nikola Tesla, and also Elon Musk, they're the ones who really push civilization forward.
I agree. You didn't see Henry Ford create a combustion engine and attach a horse at the front just in case. Right. Okay. So that was the first thing I had to ask you about. But the second thing was this drive and this hustle, because I know way too many people that want to start a company, that do start a company, and invariably end up folding a company pretty quickly because it turns out, it's a lot of hard work. I know this for a fact. My agency's been around now for 12 years. I've been through, in fact, I started about 4 weeks before Lehman Brothers collapsed in 2008. So I watched that happen. We then watched 2016 Brexit. That was another nightmare situation for the UK market. This year, again, you go ups and downs, and everybody has this. But that drive and that hustle that you've built around your company, I'm guessing that comes from, again, you mentioned that you started around 16, but have you always been like that? Have you always wanted to work that side hustle, been willing to give up your free time to be able to actually make these things work?
I have to be honest with you. I've been a workaholic since I was 7. If you ask my mom or my grandmother or my dad, they would tell you Arjun has been selling something or the other all the time. Whether I was in India selling, flower garlands after an Indian wedding, which I don't know if you've ever been to an Indian wedding. There are so many flowers. There's just so much decoration that goes into it with flowers. It's insane. And so what I initially did at, I think I was 7 or 8, I took all of the flowers that were about to be thrown out and I basically turned them into Hawaiian garlands, and I started selling them at my grandmother's gate. And keep in mind, this is India. We were visiting India for someone's wedding, and I'm at the gate with my cousin saying, these garlands are available for 25 cents. Obviously, it's the wrong currency. I was like, a quarter, you can buy this for a quarter. And obviously, everything in India is rupees and paisa. And so I was like, I had to get my currencies right. And then, fast forward back in, in Colorado, we were moving out, and we were throwing out, I think, some like small pieces of furniture. And the back of our house or our apartment faced a very busy street. And so I took this giant of a, cardboard, I think that was like 3 feet by 2 feet, and I wrote, everything must go 25 cents. Again, a quarter on, as a being completely obsessed with the quarter. And people started coming upstairs while movers were taking things downstairs. And my mom came by, was coming back home as well, and she saw the sign, and she was like, "What is going on here?" And then obviously, as soon as he came into the I guess the neighborhood, she immediately knew that I had done something, which was I was selling all the things that she was about to throw out, and she basically, pushed her, said, everyone get out, nothing's for sale," because she didn't want to deal with, the whole complexity of selling and also moving at the same time and things of that nature. So I've been selling, as far as I can remember, something or the other. I've also been working. I love working late hours, things on that I'm passionate about. And I'm fortunate to have a girlfriend that can, definitely understand that. I think that's one of the important things, is making sure that you have someone that, or at least people in general who are around you, that are able to understand the mindset you're in and the hustle that you need to put. because at the end of the day, if you don't have that, that can hold you back. And that can hold you back significantly, right? If you just have people around you that are constantly reminding you that you need to have a quote unquote life. Well, for me, this is life. 6 o'clock in the morning in New York, talking to you on a podcast is my life. Talking to customers 11 p.m. at night because that's the only time that works for them is part of my life, right? Taking 20, 30 calls a day, in some cases less, some cases more, with customers who are really excited about using our platform or need some help, with the platform, learning about their small business stories. That is a part of my life. And I'm truly blessed to have the right kinds of people, even the right kinds of pets. Like, my pets are amazing. My dog is always at my feet. He's always, supporting me. That's kind of where we want to go with our company, is like your best friend, hence the name of the company, Woofy. Like your best friend, he's always there teaching you when, how, and what to post, right? And that theme really resonates. And I completely believe in the law of attraction. The way you think, the way you treat people, those are the kinds of circumstances that come back to you.
I think that's an awesome story, and I'm sure your mum was thrilled at the time that you were trying to sell everything. I can imagine that being a challenging conversation afterwards. Cool. So let's talk a little bit about social media marketing then in general, because like we said, small businesses, I still think that social media represents huge value for every company really out there. But small businesses especially, because it gives them a place to really be able to be social. And this is something that I find a lot of people forget. So what are your thoughts for small businesses when it comes to social media? What are the sort of things that they should really be doing to maximize those platforms for themselves?
Well, the first thing is, if you're not innovating, right, in terms of trying the new platforms as soon as possible, trying them in different ways, trying them in your own unique ways, right? If you're not doing that, you're just going to be left on the side. Like, for example, I will challenge all of your listeners to ask themselves, whether TikTok is worth it or not for their business. And I would say, no matter what category you're in, TikTok is probably one of the most important platforms to be on. And by the way, Hello Woofy automates that for you. So if you're a doctor, if you're a baker, if you're a dancer, whatever category or industry you're in, there's an influencer in your category 10,000 steps ahead of you, a million steps ahead of you already, taking advantage of a new platform, which is honestly one of the best in my opinion, is already ahead of you. And what are you going to do to carve your own little piece of the universe, right? And so I always recommend staying at the cutting edge. If you're a small business owner that's reading Forbes and Wall Street Journal, traditional news outlets, I mean those are the ones here in the U.S. Depending on where you live. Pick up TechCrunch, pick up Mashable once in a while, right? Be in the know of technology as well, because at the end of the day, a technology plus as a traditional mindset is much, much more powerful than just a traditional mindset exclusively. And that was, I think that there hasn't been a situation in the last couple of years where it's been more true than the last couple of weeks or the last couple of months, right, with COVID-19. If you were a traditionally minded small business that thought every morning you were open up to your doors, you'd make maybe a few $1,000 here and there, maybe a couple of tens of thousands of dollars, and then call it a day. Well, that dried up pretty fast for you, didn't it? So then did you have a backup plan, which included an e-commerce strategy, which included the ability to sell online no matter what, no matter if customers are coming through your actual door or were they coming through your virtual door? And so that mindset is super critical for any kinds of success. Forget small business marketing. Whether you're going to college, you're going into a relationship with a significant other, if you're not being constantly innovative and trying new things, it's going to get stale pretty fast, and you're probably going to get left behind. I think that's the first thing to keep in mind when looking at social media. And the next thing is start optimizing your time with resources, right? Your time is limited. You may have one or two people supporting you. Maybe you don't have anyone supporting you. You're a solopreneur. If you can use technology like Hello Woofy that alleviates the grunt work that goes into creating content, optimizing it, analyzing it, things of that nature, then you're in a better position than your colleagues who are slash competitors who have no resources at their fingertips, and they're doing everything manually. So if you can beat your colleagues, then who are you then competing with? Well, you're competing with, as a small business owner, with the medium-sized company or the large company that has unlimited marketing budgets in your industry. You start using technology as an advantage, as a layer to further enhance what you're doing already, which is storytelling really well, being creative on social media really well. It amplifies your efforts. So I would say use technology, have the right mindset. That is the only way, in my opinion, anyone around the world can get to the next level.
I think it's huge, especially the first part about innovating. I used this as an example the other day, but literally I brought up Charles Darwin's theory of evolution, right? And this has just forced that evolution to happen so much faster. So like you mentioned, businesses that were like that, now we don't sell online, and some big businesses, right? People like Primark, who actually don't do anything online and suddenly found themselves with all their stores globally shut for months, zero revenue. I mean, oh my God, right? As a business owner, it's bad enough if you see a 20% dip or a 50% dip, but if you literally take off 100% of your revenue generation off the table, I mean, that's a hugely scary thing. So I said it to somebody the other day as exactly that. The theory of evolution, you evolve or you die. And it's a little bit extreme, right? But the idea being for a company, if you're not doing online because you feel like you're a small store and people come because they love the location and everything else, this has just proven to you why it's so important for you to replicate that kind of feel, and get those products online and make sure that you have a secondary shop window, even if it's a virtual one, to make sure that you can keep that business continuity going in the future.
I mean, here in the States, Target, Walmart, they started doing curbside pickup, in terms of people could just order ahead. Someone at Walmart could put everything into a couple of bags and then walk over to you when you drove up to the store. That happened months before COVID-19. That someone at Walmart and someone at Target and other big companies, other big box companies, had the foresight to see where society was going and how to push it forward as a civilization. And they basically said, we're going to use your phone to coordinate the pickup. We're going to allow people to pick up in general, because people were buying online, but they wanted to still be able to pick up in the moment, not have to wait for 2 days or even 1 day for shipping. This is how Walmart and Target competed with Amazon, the big juggernaut of the world. That kind of mindset, do you have it? And if you don't, can you partner with someone that does? Or find that mindset in your neighborhood, in your network, because that's what is key to getting to the next level.
I agree, and I think that complementary part, where when you have two founders and one's technical, one's sales, you see those kind of elements that really complement each other. And that really helps, because a lot of people forget, I'm not good at sales. Well, okay, cool. In that case, you've just identified that you really need someone that is good, that can help you build that side of the business. Because especially when we're talking about small businesses, marketing, like you mentioned at the very beginning, if you throw out the term marketing, it's a minefield, right? There's so much going on. So, people that we meet through the agency, we end up having conversations and they'll tell us, I read this thing about SEO. We need to do SEO. And you start explaining what that actually is. And you try and explaining that, it's not because you read 2 articles that you're going to nail this. And SEO, even some of the best professionals that I know, they'll tell you straight up, we're looking for results in 6 months' time. So can you play the long game? What else are you going to do? And I think this is something that a lot of businesses struggle with. And so from the social media point of view, and I know you've mentioned TikTok, so I'm guessing you're on TikTok, and we'll be able to get your username to throw into the show notes. But when it comes to the Hello Woofy platform, when people are trying to create this content, one of the biggest struggles we find is, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what I should be messaging about. What sort of things should I be talking to my clients about or to my audience about? How do you guys see that as being a challenge to be overcome by small businesses?
There was a study done a couple of years ago when Chipotle is a pretty big chain here in the U.S. that is essentially, let's just say McDonald's, but the Mexican Mexican food version of McDonald's, and a little bit healthier too. So when they were launching initially, they someone did a study where they took someone into a Chipotle, and noticed how they were feeling and the mindset that they were going through looking at the menu. Then they took that same person to a McDonald's, which, if you don't know the difference, Chipotle has like 5 ingredients and they come up with maybe 4-5 different variations of those same ingredients as a taco bowl, as a rice bowl, as a burrito, as a quesadilla, and that's about it. Like they keep it very simple, and they've done extremely well with very simple ingredients. But if you go to a McDonald's, right, there are, I would say, maybe 50 items on the menu, maybe 60 items on the menu. That actually makes the person feel incredibly, more overwhelmed. And that cognitive burden actually keeps away from converting into a sale, right? And so to answer your question, one of the things that we were facing is not necessarily a creative block. When you're typing something, you're working on a piece of a creative, and then all of a sudden you can't think, you can't come up with the next big idea. Well, in our case, when you start typing in Hello Woofy, if you start saying how are, and you just all you've typed in is the letters HOW space A, the platform will start suggesting how are you. It'll start suggesting the words before you, and all you have to do is hit tab to say yes, that's exactly what I wanted to say, and then continue typing from there. And I can type in I love, and all I have to do is type in the letter I space LO, and it'll automatically suggest the letters VE space U. And then if you double click on the word love, it'll give you contextually aware emojis that might do really well with the sentence. The point is, as you start typing, it'll complete the words and sentences for you. It's almost like having your Clippy from the 90s, if you remember that. It's or your best friend, your furry little friend. He's telling you what could you potentially be saying, so that you're not running into a creative block of I don't know what to say. Now, if you have articles, if you have content that with links to them, all you have to do is take the link and embed it into the text field, and it'll actually scour the article to come up with content for you. And at that point, all you have to do is go through the piece of the content that I suggest and just click on one of them so that it can add it as a piece of copy. And then, of course, it does all the magic around hashtags and emoji recommendations based on that quote directly from the article. And if there's no image available, we do a quick search across the internet for copyright-free images that will do really well based on the context of the article and the quote you picked. Now, all of this is happening in seconds. Now, I obviously described it in several seconds, but the point is it's shaving away the unneeded burden on the creative mindset of the small business owner, because it's doing it for them. And now they can focus on, when do I want to talk about this? How do I want to storytell? How can I focus on the creative, the creative itself, rather than saying, oh, can I come up with 15 posts today so that I can have something or the others to say over the course of the next couple of weeks? Well, you can do 15 pretty quickly. So you have a lot more content coming out on each of your channels, which are probably having, are having chirping crickets right now.
I like it, man. I'm going to have to jump in and get this going for myself and give it a test so that I can leave a review and let other people know what it's like.
Absolutely. And by the way, all of this is available for the price of a cup of coffee a day. We're running a promotion right now. It's $49 a year. In perpetuity, you'll be grandfathered in. But all we're doing is right now is giving the product away for a very low fee. A, because it's affordable and it should be affordable for small businesses. But B, we're only 6 months old, and we want to figure out how can we go from not only 30 to 4,000 customers, but how do we go from 4,000 to 400,000 customers? And so we have a Facebook group called Content Masters. all of our customers are welcome to join it, and including our partners. And actually, there are a lot of podcast hosts in there as well. And they're telling us what's working for them. They're even telling us what's not working for them and what features they want us to build as a software company. And so it's a very open forum. It's a very safe environment and I always encourage small businesses to have that with their customers. Create your own Facebook group, because that is probably the most sticky way to have a conversation with your customers when they're not walking through your physical door, but they're only online. And so I always recommend Facebook groups. Plus, you can automate it with Hello Woofy.
Ooh, I like it. So we also have the Facebook group for all about digital marketing. So we will definitely mention this in there as well. And I'm gonna ask you as well to let me join the Content Masters group as well,
Absolutely.
so that I can get involved. I got a really random question, but I love Chipotle as well. What's your favorite dish?
Oh, so my order is very specific. It's a paragraph long. So what I do is I get tacos. I get the hard shell. I ask for a combination of brown rice with white rice, a little bit of fajitas on the side, not too much, and black beans for sure, mild salsa, and chips on the side. I always get salsa on the side too. As a hack, if you get salsa in the taco itself, you get less, but if you get it on the side, you get a lot more. It's a quick hack there from my college years, when obviously either I walked or I ate dinner, or I walked and I ate or I ate lunch. But I basically lived off $900 a month, and $700 was going towards rent. And then by the end of it, by the end of the Chipotle line, I would always order the I think it was called the Adam and Eve or something of the nature apple juice. They took it away in the last year or so. So today I actually get the easy soda instead.
Arjun, thank you so much for sharing with me. Where can everybody find you and connect with you online?
Just Google hellowoofy.com and or Arjun, which is Arjun. You can also email me. I love talking to customers, or even people who are potentially customers, and there are people just who need help as small businesses. Right? I'm happy to share resources on Fiverr and Upwork. How did we build a company with $12,000 in the bank? And today we're doing $135,000. We're on track to doing $250,000 by the end of the year as total sales. How do we get there? I'm happy to share resources. So just email me, Arjun, Arjun, at Hello Woofy, which is WOOFY.com. And I'd love to be able to help you.
That's absolutely awesome. I'll make sure that all of those addresses are linked in the show notes. Arjun, again, thank you so much for coming on to share your story.
Thank you, Chris, and I hope you and your family do really well, and best of luck with everyone who's listening.
Thank you.
The All About Digital Marketing podcast is brought to you by Social Inc., a distributed digital marketing agency specialized in delivering results through online campaigns. Whether it's content marketing, social media marketing, online advertising, or web design, we've got you covered, from strategy through to delivery. If you're struggling with your digital marketing, get in touch today by simply visiting www.socialinc.co.